y'all, I am Michele Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then we're going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
I feel like the real reason that Africans, Caribbeans, and everyone from the diaspora is so bothered by Black Americans is because we do not let the African part of our lineage overshadow the American part, right? So when African Americans are creating all of this new culture and we're being the face of culture and creation and innovation all across the world, we are not giving that credit to our African heritage. And I think that is where all of the discomfort come from. Because every time there's a conversation about, the greatness of Black Americans in the world, every time a British person or Caribbean person opens their mouth to talk about Black people in America, it's always, oh, they don't know their roots. They don't know their heritage. When in fact, we do know our history, we do know our heritage, and we know that we are descendants of American slaves. And in those 500 years, we mixed with Europeans, Native Americans, Hispanics, and of course, the people who originally here were African. But we ourselves are not inherently African in any type of way. So because we don't give that credit in large to our African counterparts, there is jealousy and disdain there.
The first thing is that Black people from the United States, we are part of the diaspora. If you are a person from the continent of Africa and they were born and raised there, their family's still there, then they would not be a part of the diaspora. The diaspora will be Black people around the world who got to those other parts of the world through the transatlantic slave trade. She said in the video that Black people from the United States, their ancestry would be the descendants of slaves. The last time I checked, slaves were coming from the continent of Africa. They were not coming from any other part. So that would then make us as Black people in the United States, African Americans, as a part of the African diaspora. We are not excluded from that or separated from that. So we will be all included in that. That's the first thing. The second thing that definitely needs to be addressed in this video is when she's talking about that Black people are kind of a conglomerate of Hispanics and all these other different types of ethnic groups. I've not read any where there's a huge Hispanic culture or ancestry when it comes to Black people in the United States. European, yes. Native American, yes. But the whole Hispanic part that she's talking about, I really don't get that. The reason why that there is a heavy emphasis on the African part is that's because that would be the foundation. That will be where it all started from. You always want to pay homage to the beginning. And when it comes to Black people from the United States of America, that would be our beginning. Whether or not there is some European as a part of who we are, that there's some Native American as a part of who we are, a larger portion of who we are will be from the continent of Africa. So that is the reason why there's a strong emphasis on that. The continent of Africa has been a part of Black history for as long as I can remember. It's only since social media has came out that people want to make these types of videos as if the continent of Africa all of a sudden just kind of made its way into Black history, that it's never been a part of it. Then all of a sudden, people just want to put it in there. And what kills me is when it's almost as if they feel like that the people from the continent of Africa is the one that's putting the emphasis on the African American part when it comes to Black people in the United States of America. And that's just not even where it lies. It's Black people in the United States who put that emphasis on our identity because they were Black people that understood that was our foundation. From the very beginning, there has always been an understanding that there is a connection to the continent of Africa, and in order for us to move forward as a people, we can't forget that. And people are now forcefully forgetting it. It's not that it's not that it's being forgotten because somebody's trying to erase it. These are Black people in the United States who are willingly wanting to forget about it, willingly want to separate from it, and then want to wonder why people are not wanting to care about our history anymore. You all don't care about it. You don't care about the history that comes with being Black in the United States of America. But then you want people to think that it's important when they can see that there are some Black people who don't think it's important anymore to include the continent of Africa in the history of our people. there's not a secret that black people have contributed a lot to this world. There's no way you can refute that. This literally in the history book. It's literally, you can literally Google that. Nobody's going to refute the contributions that we've made. The only people that's ever refuting that is the people that don't look like us. They're the ones who's always taking credit for things that black people have created. And so it's nobody else is doing that. No other people that look like us, who are not from the United States of America, they're not sitting there trying to take credit for things that they didn't create. You know why? Because they were creating things as well that people have also taken credit for. So they completely understand, black people in the United States, how people have taken credit for the music, for the fashion, for the innovations, for the inventions that people that don't look like us have taken credit for. They understand that. People from the continent of Africa, they understand that. People from the Caribbean, they understand that. They are not trying to take credit from us. People that don't look like us, they are the ones that have always tried to take credit from us because they were not able to create things on their own. Seeing these types of videos is very disheartening because it's almost like you want to create an enemy with people that look like us when that's not where the enemy is. And while you're sitting over there trying to create an enemy with people that don't look like us, the ones that we definitely need to be fighting against, the ones that we definitely need to be saying to ourselves, these are the ones that is causing a lot of trouble within the community. Instead of the focus is on who it needs to be focused on, the attention continues to always go on the continent of Africa, who's sitting over there minding their own business. And the only time that the identity of America becomes this big, huge issue to some black people in the United States is when they feel like they have to have some type of validation. And it's like, you don't need to seek validation. If you're as proud to be a black person as you say that you are, you don't need validation from anybody. You don't need validation from the people from the continent of Africa. You don't need validation from the people from the Caribbean. You don't need validation from people that don't look like us. You don't need that validation. You already know the contribution that black people have made to this world. You know the contribution that black people in the United States have made to the United States of America. You know that that's the contribution that has been made. You no longer need to seek validation, and that's what some black people want. They want validation for something that you should be able to get within your own community. It's already been validated. So, this lady is talking about people having hatred or wanting to hate on black people in the black community because they don't want to put the emphasis on the continent of Africa. I strongly disagree. I don't believe anybody cares. I really don't. I don't think anybody cares about that. It is only black people in the black community that care about the whole African part, being a part of the African American part. Nobody else cares about that. I think that when it comes to this type of mindset that there's some black people like herself have, they want to create this type of disconnect or this type of jealousy simply because they want to have a reason to delineate themselves from these groups of people. So there's not really a justifiable reason. So now they're just starting to create some where there's not there. If you want to delineate yourselves from the continent of Africa, then delineate yourselves from it. You're wanting to delineate yourselves from these groups of people because that's what you want to do. It has nothing to do with their so-called actions against you. It doesn't have anything to do with you feeling like they're jealous of you. It is because you literally don't want to be connected. So just do that. Do that. Make the decision because you just don't want to have a connection. Stop making it because you feel like somebody's trying to do some injustice against you or trying to have hatred against you. When as a whole, that's not happening. You know it, we know it, and it's time for people to start be real about it and just own that you want to delineate yourselves from the people, and that's it. Delineate yourselves and keep it moving. Like, enough is enough. And I would be able to kind of support the whole delineation part if then you was going to a unified front within the black community. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to talk about that. You delineate yourselves from these ethnic groups and these other groups of people who you feel like is hating upon you. But then you go into the black community and you're still facing the same type of situations. There are some people in the black community, being black ain't enough. It's not enough for me to be black and be born and raised in the United States of America. That ain't enough for some black people. Now you gotta think like them, you gotta act like them, you gotta identify the way they want you to identify. You have to just support everything black people do. Doesn't matter if they're doing wrong or not, you just gotta support it. And so, if you're able to follow all those things, then you're black enough for them. Then you can be considered black. But if you do not go in the straight and narrow way they feel like that you should go, or if you don't think the way they think, or if you at one time say, you know what, that wasn't right that you did, then they have a problem with you and you're no longer black enough. You got to prove your blackness now with some people in the black community. And that gets old. That really gets old, because then that means there's not really a true unity in the black community either. So, not only are you delineating yourselves from other ethnic groups, some of you all are delineating yourselves from people that were born and raised in the United States of America. Black people born and raised in the United States of America. You're even delineating yourselves from people within the community. And then you sit back and wonder why there's not a moving forward. So it's crazy that with everything that's going on, it is clear where the unification is, and it's still not happening amongst black people around the world. And hopefully we'll wake up. We will wake up, truly wake up as a group of people, and see that while everybody's unifying and everybody's getting together and really working for their own best interest, that does not include us, that we really need to set aside whatever you feel about whoever, and understand where we need to be as a whole and how we need to be as a people in order to move us into the right direction. All right, you all, I am Michele Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.